Hello and welcome to another spoiler week here at Hobbies and Happiness. My name's Dan.
I'm Jim, and it's week 4.
All right, it's week 4, spoiler season for Alpha Clash, set number 2 called Clashgrounds. So we got another week. After this, we've got about 1 week left, I believe. 1 week and then a couple of days, and then we'll be completely through spoiler season for Clashgrounds. What are you thinking so far, Jim? What's your thoughts so far? I got some beautiful cards, right?
So many of these cards seem powerful. I can't wait to play with them.
They are pretty powerful, that's for sure. Now, before we get into it, don't forget, if you like this type of content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications so you can be notified when we release more Alpha Clash content in the future. And again, don't forget, head over to Twitter, follow the Alpha Clash account. That way you can be notified and you can see everything as it gets spoiled. So the Alpha Clash team does a pretty good job of getting all those posts reposted for everybody to see. Now, the other thing I want to remind you, we're currently looking at that Kickstarter for the Alpha Clash novel. Jim, I've got 50 pages left. 50 pages, then I'll be done. And guys, this story, in all honesty, is gripping. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Normally, I don't care about the lore about the TCG that I'm playing. I don't. I normally don't. And I am very much emotionally invested into the story. And it's a great story. So I'm looking forward to us getting the audiobook so Jim can experience it, because Jim ain't a reader.
All right, I just have problems reading. I lose focus a lot.
Yes, yeah, and it's interesting. I'm not sure there's a ton of people in the TCG community who are big readers, but I know a lot in the AC community are loving this novel. And again, so don't forget, go follow that Kickstarter. The link is going to be down below in the description, so you guys can check that out.
And we do know a lot of them aren't readers because we don't read our cards. So
True. All right. Well, let's get into the spoilers for last week. So the first couple that we got were spoiled by the Magic Historian. You can follow him on Twitter at Big Daddy Hatch, and then on YouTube at The Magic Historian. He showed us 2 iconic rares, and my goodness, dude, these iconic rares are beautiful. Yeah, one of them we haven't seen yet, but let's just admire the iconic rare that is Death, the Endbringer. We've seen this card before. And honestly, even the regular rare art is still gorgeous. Yeah. But I think this tops it though. It's kind of they're both beautiful pieces.
It's very difficult because the other one, it's like, look at how amazing Death is. Yeah. And this one is, look at how awesome Death is with whatever it is they're doing.
It's that adage, she's just destroying stuff. Yes. And it's pretty crazy. So yeah, so that's the iconic rare for Death, the Endbringer. Absolutely love that art. And then the next piece is a card that we haven't seen yet. This card is Conquest, the Undefeated. And then we did get to see the other artwork that was spoiled by the artist, Chris Jones. You can follow him on Instagram at Chris Jones Super Artist. So Conquest, the Undefeated is a 2-cost, 2 required white resources for a 2/3 Conquest Argor Clash card. He's a Harbinger affiliated card, epic rarity, and has exclusive and then trigger victory. Ready this card, then it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. This effect triggers only once per turn. Jim, what do you think about Conquest the Undefeated here?
This effect is amazing. You're going to be able to take out the really weak cards, and if you're able to pump him up, you can now take out a lot of the mid-range cards as well, and just easily be able to 2-for-1. I really like this card, and I do think it's important to notice the crossover with Jurassic Park here.
The crossover with Jurassic Park. on the iconic rare. Yes. We're not. This is not Magic the Gathering, because today it's interesting. At the day we record this, I'm pretty sure it was today, or was it today or yesterday? It might have been yesterday. Magic revealed their what is it? The secret lair of Jurassic Park. Yeah. They're doing that with the next Ixalan set. Yeah. So I'm seeing all these Jurassic Park cards. I'm like, oh, cool. This is not one of those.
Looks like Alpha Clash is going to Ixalan.
Yeah. But yeah, that is a beautiful piece of art. Yeah. I absolutely love that. But yeah, I mean, the card, it's a 2/3 for 2 that can potentially be a 3/3. And so you can attack and then ready again. I mean, it's a really good effect. So, so that is Conquest, the Undefeated. All right, the next card that we have is Change of Scenery. This was spoiled to us by Patrick Brown. You can follow him on Instagram at Patrick Brown Art. So Change of Scenery is a common 2-cost, 1 required white resources for a quick action, and says counterattack. If the portal is open, return target Clashground to its owner's hand. So it's a quick action. You got to pay 2 for it to bounce a Clashground. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this, Jim? What do you think?
That's a pretty good effect, it seems like, because you can utilize it against your opponent or kind of even help yourself. Because if your opponent attacks and say you have out Grant Park, we'll say, just a random Clashground.
Right. That's yours?
Yeah.
You're saying that's yours? Yeah.
Exactly. You can bounce it to your hand on your opponent's turn.
Right.
To then be able to play it on your turn.
Following turn, yeah.
To be able to have that versatility of I can utilize this for myself or really screw my opponent over.
Because it doesn't say,
nice.
It doesn't say Clashground your opponent controls. It's any Clashground. Now, so we should know you can only play this card on your opponent's turn, right? You can only play it on your opponent's turn, but you can do it defensively for like returning in New York City, right? Or something that buffs, right? Or like you just said, a Clashground like Grant Park that's yours, and then get that effect off. Again, you say Grant Park, and there have been many instances where I've been playing a game in Grant Park because it gives Clash cards that defensive buff. Yeah, I'm like, I kind of need that. I need that gone so I can power through my opponent's stuff. So when I have it out, hey, I'll bounce it back to my hand. And then just wait. It's really good.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, there's so many times when we were playing, we were in this stalemate.
Yeah, the stalemate.
When I have out the Grant Park, and it was just nothing was happening. Yep. But this can kind of make it to where something's happening.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that is Change of Scenery. I didn't know what to think of it, the card initially, but then when you immediately said that, I'm like, you've got a good point. I really like that. Absolutely, really like that. Yeah. And again, I love the artwork here. Clarity, looking into Snorro's mind, asking the question, is this who you are? For those of you who've read the book,
I did.
You know it. This is okay. I'm going to say it right now, guys, but I've been reading the book, and one thing I love about it is putting all of these cards and the artwork in context. It's just super cool, and I'm absolutely loving it. Go back to Kickstarter, get the book, read the book. You'll enjoy it. You'll love it.
Next one is going to be a picture book. I mean, they already have all the pictures, so it's just...
They're going to put it together.
Fit it in.
So, all right, the next 2 cards that we have come to us courtesy of Red Zone Rogue. You can follow him on Twitter and YouTube at Red Zone Rogue. The first card is Grasp of War. It's a 2-cost uncommon action. So 2 costs, 1 required red resources. It's an uncommon quick action, which reads counterattack. Deal 5 damage to target attacking Clash card with Flight. Jim, what do you think about this card?
I think flyers are super annoying, and I really do like this card.
Yeah.
The 5 damage is a lot of damage, and just for 2 cost, it's not a trap, so you can hold this back.
I know, and it's non-clash damage too. Like,
this is beautiful.
Dude,
non-clash this card.
Dude, non-clash damage is just
It seems like it's cheating.
Right? Because again, coming from a Magic background, right? I think that we go into a clash, okay, all that damage stays on. It doesn't. Clash damage wears off after the end of the clash. So, knowing that, playing this game, it's like, dude, non-clash damage is just so much more important. And then when you're building a deck around these non-clash damage effects, woo, buddy, pretty crazy. So yeah, that's. But again, 2 costs for 5 damage. 2 costs
that's a really
for
nice
5
ratio.
damage.
That's a really nice
That's
ratio.
crazy. So that's Grasp of War. The next card is Somewhere in San Francisco. Here's another card where, again, if you've read the book, bottom left corner, you can see the sign, Embarcadero. I'm picturing, I know where this is at in the book. Love it. Read the book. Anyway, Somewhere in San Francisco. 1 cost, 1 required red resources for a San Francisco Earth Clashground. This is a common card, and it says contenders get +1/+0. When this card leaves play, you may draw a card. Think about this with Change of Scenery.
Wow. Yeah.
If you play it, If you play it on your turn, you give your contender that +1/+0.
Yeah.
Your opponent goes to swing in. You bounce this to your hand, and then you draw a card.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
You know what I love about this?
Yeah.
The flavor of somewhere in San Francisco, and it's not like they have a very iconic bridge in the background of this card where they're like, we don't know exactly where we're at.
But Jim, it's funny you say that. It's just funny you say that. It's like, guys, seriously, read the book. So I'm telling you, man, because I'll tell you. But seriously, because I saw this card before I got to it, before I got to this part. And so when I'm reading the book, I'm like, oh, I'm
one of these characters say that? Somewhere in San Francisco?
I think the line might have been in there somewhere.
Okay.
The line might have been. I'm not sure if somebody said that, but yeah. I mean, you've got Warcry, Kilimanjaro taking on Torque. I love this artwork. Absolutely great. But for only one cost too. Yeah. I mean, this is like one cost draw card. Again, not on ETB, but this is still a pretty interesting card because again, with Clashgrounds, you're gonna have to. In playing this game, I found you want to have a good number of Clashgrounds in your deck because Clashgrounds can be super important to every single strategy, and so you need to find ways to interrupt your opponent's Clashgrounds. So this is kind of one of those low to the ground ones that can really do that. So, okay, the next one that we have is Conquest the Domineer. Conquest the Domineer, spoiled by Chris Jones. Follow him again on Instagram at Chris Jones Super Artist. Conquest the Domineer is a 1 cost, 1 required white resources for a 0/2 Conquest of Argor Clash card. It's a Harbinger affiliation, common rarity. And so it's a 0/2 and reads, once per turn during your primary phase, you may engage this card. If you do, activate the portal. Jim, what do you think about this one?
It's different, but I like it.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? That 0/2 stat line. I mean, this clearly goes into decks that care about portal synergies, 100%. Right? And so we still don't have the entire set yet, right? So it's kind of tough to see where this is going to fit. Yeah. But I know there's going to be a lot of strategies that care very much about the portal being activated.
And we have seen, what was it, the hammer that Conquest messes around or has. This would power it to being a 1 attack creature as well now. Because this is on your opponent's turn. Yeah, during your opponent's turn.
As long as it's in accessory zone.
Yeah. So it's like you could tap this on your turn, activate the portal, and if that accessory isn't equipped to anything during your opponent's turn, well now this isn't a 0 attack.
Right, it's a 1/2.
Now it's a 1/2.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah. Again, a very interesting design, and I think and I'm here for it. So, okay. Excuse me. The next two that we have come to us again, courtesy of our friend Flake. Follow him on Twitter at WatchFlake. The first one that we have is Disorientation. Disorientation is a 4 cost, 2 required black resources for an uncommon trap accessory. It reads counterattack. Target attacking Clash card gets -2/-1 until end of turn. Then that card's controller must send another Clash card or accessory they control to Oblivion. Jim, what do you think about this card here?
I hate these 4-drop traps because I just can't wrap my brain around them because it's like these are good effects, but I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it on a 4 trap.
I know it's hard to evaluate, right? I mean, the way that I look at this is if I'm not getting a 2-for-1 out of this, I'm upset.
Yes.
If I don't get a 2-for-1 out of this, I'm upset, right?
And at 4 cost, that seems like
but again, 4 cost for a 2-for-1.
Yeah, true.
Then I'm okay with that, right? Because again, like let's think about Magic for a second. The 4 cost, right? We've seen a lot of 4 cost kill spell effects in Magic, and that's typically the sweet spot where they say, okay, it's 4, that's exile target creature or something like that. Another 4 and 5 is also the other sweet spot where we see a lot of board wipes as well. Yeah. Right. So this is definitely on the higher side of single target removal. But where I'm like, okay, if I can at least get 2-for-1 out of this, I'm gonna be happy. Right. Yeah. I think anything less, then it's like, I don't know how I feel about it.
And it gets around indestructible if it's their only thing that they can get rid of.
Correct. Right. right? You're not dealing damage to it. It's send to oblivion, right? So again, similar to exiling in a game like Magic the Gathering, right? So yeah, so that's Disorientation. Again, that artwork, ooh, I mean, I love it. Anything with death on it, I'm like, it's so beautiful. Speaking of a card with death on it, it's Death, Devourer of Souls. Another 4 costs, a 4 cost 2 required black resources for a 0/2 Death of Bardega Clash card, Harbinger Affiliation, uncommon rarity, and it reads trigger attack. You may send any number of Clash cards you control to Oblivion. If you do, this Clash card gets +2/+0 until end of turn for each Clash card sent to Oblivion this way. If 2 or more Clash cards were sent to Oblivion by this effect, this card also gets Breakthrough until end of turn. So trigger attack, banish some of your stuff, right? So if you got tokens or you got stuff that's sent to Oblivion, granted, again, Death has a lot of cares about being sent to Oblivion effects, right? So it makes sense in the Death matter synergies, right? So I like that. But Jim, what do you think about this card?
This card is super sick. This thing is going to end the game. You're going to swing out with everything else. You're going to make them block with whatever, and then you're going to sacrifice 5 cards.
You're going to swing with all your other stuff first.
Oh my goodness.
You're going to swing with all your stuff, right? Swing with all your stuff, drop Death, and then banish everything else, send to Oblivion, and then send 5,
Dude,
get +10.
Dude, the game's over, man.
With the Breakthrough. Oh, man.
Even if they have that blocker, you're like, I don't care.
And the interesting thing about this game, I love this, okay? If you're attacking with something that has Breakthrough and they want to double block, okay, because what happens is the attacking Clash card will deal its attack damage to each Clash card involved in the Clash. So if Death is a 10/2 and you block with 3 creatures, okay, I'm dealing 10 to each individual Clash card, and then it has Breakthrough. All that stuff that's not being blocked gets sent through.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's crazy. And the first time I learned that, I'm like, oh no, I don't like that. But being on offense, I like it.
So good.
It's so good. And it's really interesting because, again, I've said this before. One thing I love about this game is it takes these effects and these mechanics that have been around at TCGs for a while and just turns it on its head. And that's one of them where it really turns it on its head. And awesome. I like it. I'm here for it. So yeah. So that is Death, Devourer of Souls. So okay, the next one that we have, next 2 that we have, come to us courtesy of Kyle Petchak. Follow him on Instagram at K_Petchak_art. Okay, the first one is Low Earth Orbit. This is an interesting card. I love the artwork on this. Okay, but Low Earth Orbit is a 1 cost, 1 required green resources for an Outer Space Earth Clashground. It's a common rarity card, and it says trigger enter. If the portal is open, target Clash card gets -1/-1 until end of turn.
Yep.
And then the portal costs 1 less resource of any color to activate. Now, that's a universal effect.
Yeah.
But really cool. What do you think about it, Jim?
I mean, if you're going to be playing this with Pestilence, a lot of the portal is going to matter. And now you just reduce the cost even more for yourself. Sure, it is also for your opponent, but that's okay because it's important for when you really need it.
Right.
So I really do like this card. And the 1 cost Clashgrounds, like you were saying earlier, it's very important to have these to just mess over your opponent's Clashgrounds. And if you could do it for 1 cost to get rid of a New York City, sign me up.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And like if you're just rocking a bunch of these in your deck too, and then just cycling, and then just you have like 4 different Clash cards or Clashgrounds, each at 1 cost. Boom, boom, boom. You know, just keep cycling it around.
And even if the portal is open, you can utilize this to get rid of a token. You can get rid of the 1/1 or any of the 2/1 creatures that there are.
Right.
And so it's even a spot removal on it.
Can be, yeah.
Or if there's ever that, say we both have like 4 5s out on the field, it's like, all right, well now I know that I can get over you because I have this.
Right. Yeah, so that's Low Earth Orbit. Then the next one is Fight Another Day. This is interesting, okay? I, again, love the artwork with Pestilence. So fight another day. 3 costs, 1 required green resources for an uncommon accessory trap, which reads counterattack. Return target attacking clash card to its owner's hand. So it's a bounce effect for 3, and it's a trap. What do you think about this one, Jim?
Bounce effect for 3.
3 costs, 1 required green, counterattack, return the targeting clash card to its owner's hand.
I really do like it because when you're in that mid to late game thing and your opponent just spends all of their resources into one cost thing and then swings out with something, this is kind of just like,
yes,
I don't care.
Yes.
Get it out of my face.
You
really change the tempo.
Right. It very much could, because it could very much turn the game on its head where your opponent's about to win.
Yep.
And you just need them to swing out, put all of their defenses down, give you an opening, and they do that.
Yes.
Like, even if they spend 7 to bring out Machina and you have a bunch of cards on board, then okay, they get the Machina out. Yes, he gets that barrage effect maybe on the trigger attack, but you're still sending that back to their hand. So it's very, very, very interesting. So
very cool card.
Yeah, so that is Fight Another Day. All right, the next one. This next one, I love this card. Okay, this comes to us courtesy of Southern Hobby. Southern Hobby Distribution. Find them on Twitter at Southern Hobby. It is Deliverance. Deliverance, ladies and gentlemen, it's here. Deliverance is a 3 cost, 2 required white resources for a rare basic action, which reads send target clash card to Oblivion. What do you think about that, Jim?
Seems like one of the best cards of the game, Dan.
Because this is literally the effect that's stapled to Khagan.
Yep.
And Khagan's 6.
Yep.
So we now have a basic action that has that effect that cost 3. So to me, what that means is that Khagan's 5/5, a 5/5 flyer for 3. That means Khagan is still like one of the most overvalued cards in the game. It's crazy. But again, Deliverance still a phenomenal card.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's spot removal.
Green white. Play green white.
I'm excited to play green white now.
I think that's going to be scary.
That is going to be very, very scary. But yeah, now honestly, I just want to see. I want to see more spot removal in other colors.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, do you think we'll see it in other colors, like these types of effects? What do you think?
Hopefully, that'd be great.
Well, it's interesting because, like, again, my mind now goes back to Magic, right? And these effects seem to always be in black. Right. Yeah. White has the exile effects.
Yep.
Red has the direct damage effects. Yeah. And then you don't really see. I mean, green has the fight effects.
They have fight effects, and then I think they have multiple cards where it's destroy something, but then you give your opponent something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, this is interesting. So
white and blue also have that.
Right. And blue has all the bounce effects too.
Yep.
Right. So
or stop it before it even comes in.
Right. So I'm excited to see a card like Deliverance. In all honesty, it's one of those fundamental effects that you need to have, and I love it. I love a card like Deliverance. So that is Deliverance.
Also makes me want to play a banjo. I don't know.
Play a banjo.
Yeah.
I understood that reference. All right. The next one is another iconic rare art piece. Thanks again to Dagan. Follow him on Twitter at Kodachi1. It is War the Intensifier. War the Intensifier. 7 cost, 3 required red resources. For a 4/4 War of Bardega Harbinger Clash card. Again, this is an iconic rare card. And it reads exclusive. So only 1 on the battlefield at a time. And it says Harbinger Clash cards you control get +1/+1. Also, trigger attack. Create 1/1/1 red Harbinger War minion Clash token. So oh man. So it's a 1/1, but it's actually a 2/2 because it's a Harbinger Clash card, thanks to War of the Intensifier. So I think this is one of our first Lord effects.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it is. So what do you think about this card, Jim?
I love it. Sign me up. I can't wait to have a War deck. I don't know how much more I can say about this. Sure, it's exclusive, but it kind of has to be.
Wasn't War like your top contender that you
One
wanted to
them.
play?
It was the second. Yeah, I placed it second.
Oh, that's right,
because
because you want to play Pestilence. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But War seems so sick too.
It does.
They're like neck and neck.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, that's a War. Again, I love the art piece. Absolutely love the art on this card. So that's War. There's really not much more we can say, guys.
Yeah.
It's a 4. I mean, again, a 4/4 for 7. It's like, oh, what?
And I like that you say Lord effect because he's a War Lord.
Yes, he is. For those of you who play Magic, you know why I said Lord effect, right?
Lord effect is creature gives +1/+1 to your stuff.
And I can't remember what the original card was that had that effect. It had Lord in the name.
Well, I don't want to say like Lord of Atlantis.
I think you're right. I'm pretty sure you're right. Something along those lines. But that's why they call it the Lord effect, because it had Lord in the name of the first card that had that effect. So anyway, that's War the Intensifier. All right, this next card, again, I love the artwork on this piece, and this character is really, really interesting. It's Shadowlight Darkness Rising. This was spoiled to us by Renee Allen Art at Renee Allen Art on Instagram. So Shadowlight Darkness Rising is a 2-cost, one required black resources for a 1/2 Shadowlight Earth Alpha Clash card. It is an uncommon rarity card, and it says this card cannot be attacked by Alpha Clash cards. It also says you may play this card without paying its resource cost by returning a white Shadowlight Clash card from your Clash zone to your hand. So in the first set, I believe there was a 1/1 for 1 in white Shadowlight card, which said it can't be blocked by Alpha Clash cards.
Yeah.
So you could attack with that Shadowlight, return that, bounce that to your hand to play this Shadowlight. And again, the lore, this makes so much sense. Now that I know a lot about the Shadowlight character, it's super, super cool, because going from light to shadow, very, very interesting. Jim's got a puzzled look on his face. So what are you thinking about this card, Jim?
Okay, all right. Let me try and read
the card. Yes, okay.
You may play this card without paying its resource cost by returning it's a white shadow.
Light,
Okay.
Yes.
I was like, what's to stop you from just like attacking with the one and then bouncing it? So then if you have a second one, you can then play it and then like. But it specifically
says white.
Guys,
yes.
read your cards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very much.
I was like, wait a minute.
You could just infinitely loop this? Yes.
All right. We got there.
Yeah. So now that you've read it correctly, what do you think about that?
Terrible card. Now that I read it correctly, I used to go infinite. No, I still like it. Sorry. Especially if the meta is a lot of Alpha Clash stuff.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, now it can't be attacked by anything, where the other one, it couldn't be blocked, so they can always swing back into it.
Right.
But then they can still block this one?
Yes. They can still block this one. Yes.
All right. I mean, yeah, I think it's just a fine card. And this is only the second Shadowlight card that we've seen.
I have to look at set one. I know there's a couple others, I think.
Okay.
I think there's a couple. Shadowlight's Light Beam is a card, but that might be an action. I think Shadowlight's Light Beam is a basic action, maybe.
Okay.
I have to double check.
But for Clash cards, these are the. I think these.
I think so. Yeah, we don't have a ton of Shadowlight cards.
So, and if the first one was a 1-drop,
yeah,
the next one's going to be a 3-drop.
3-drop. I think so.
Calling it.
Yeah. All right. So that is Shadowlight Darkness Rising. All right. The next two come to us courtesy of our friend Steven. Follow him on Twitter at DMArmada and on YouTube at DMArmada. The first card is Hunker Down. Hunker Down is a rare quick action, cost X resources and 2 required black resources. So you can pay X amount, but it's got a minimum of 2 black.
Yes.
So you gotta put at least 2 black resources into this card. Okay. So it's a quick action and it reads Counterplay. Clash cards you control get +0 +X until end of turn. Jim, what do you think about this card here?
Okay, so the first time I read this, I didn't realize it was plus.
Okay.
So I thought it was just like mess up your opponent's board with -X defense. So I'm like, this card's broken. Read your cards. That's probably going to be my new saying.
Yes.
All right. But aside from that, yeah, being able to buff up all your stuff when it is that you're going to be going into that the defense, blocking everything.
Well, again, this is counterplay.
Yeah, this is counterplay.
So it's counterplay. So you can play it in response to Here Comes the Boom.
True.
You could play it in response to Here Comes the Boom, or you play it in response to they're going to drop a big 6/6.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to drop a big card.
Yeah.
Or it's just the first card that they play on their turn, and you want to hunker down, right, and just buff all your cards up to prepare to be able to either block or not necessarily block, but just get them ready to sustain whatever attack is going to incoming.
True.
Right.
Yeah, I do like it. It's an AoE effect rather than just like the single target buff something up.
Right.
But to be able to buff all of your stuff and even make it to where your like 1/1s can survive these attacks that they're going to be blocking. Yeah, I really like this card.
Right. Yeah, this is clearly like tech against Here Comes the Boom, but it has a lot of different variabilities and play patterns. There's a lot of different ways you can utilize this type of effect.
Yeah.
So, that is Hunker Down. All right, the next card that we have is a beauty. It's another Khagan. It is Khagan Blazing Dragon. So Khagan Blazing Dragon is a 4-cost, 2 required green resources for a 3/3 Khagan of Earth Alpha Clash card. It is a rare card. It says Breakthrough. It also has Trigger Enter, send target relic to Oblivion. So another Khagan, another Trigger Enter effect. Jim, what do you think about Khagan Blazing Dragon?
We've seen some pretty good relics, and I mean, this is just going to be able to, screw your opponent up a little bit with, they really wanted to have that relic most likely. Sure, it can't get rid of Havens because that's untargetable.
Right.
But this would be really good if you could get rid of that card. So, but still overall, the 3/3 with Breakthrough, being able to power over some weaker creatures, which is really nice.
Yep.
I like the card, and it is a really big tech card going up against things with Relic that you're able to get rid of.
Right.
So I do like it.
Right. We're going to see a lot of these cards that destroy target accessories or stuff in the accessory zone. This is a lot less versatile because it's specifically a Relic.
Yes.
But you still you have a good body. You got a 3/3 with Breakthrough. And he's an alpha. So that's definitely going to matter.
Yep.
So that's Khagan Blazing Dragon. All right. I believe this is the last card that we have. Yeah, the last card that we have. Oh, wait a minute. There's still one more. And I'll have to find it because it's not here. But this card, let's talk about this card first. Okay. Right. So this card is Impenetrable Armor. Impenetrable Armor is a 2-cost, 1 required green resources for a rare weapon accessory. It has an attached cost of 1 green, and it reads, attached Clash card can't be sent to Oblivion or returned to your hand by card effects. So another Khagan tech card. Again, love the art on this. Khagan is taking on one of the discarded. Jim, what do you think about Impenetrable Armor?
This card's phenomenal. I'm glad that we see a defensive or accessory weapon.
Yep.
And even though it's a weapon, it's an armor.
Yes.
So still love it. And the funny thing is, right? Khagan can't get rid of this armor. Either of the Khagans can get rid of this armor because it's not a relic.
It's not a relic.
And I mean, you can't send the thing to Oblivion. So
Right.
I like that he is his greatest strength and also
his greatest enemy, weakness.
His strongest against himself as well. I don't know how to say this.
Yes. All right. So this next card, let me do this. We're going to do this because I have it over here in this other doc. So I'm copying it. We're doing it live as we speak. I'm copying it, sending it over to Jim.
Live.
All right, we're doing it live. All right. So this is Warzone. So Warzone, this card was spoiled by artist Alex Tripp. I'm gonna link it in the description. I don't have his Instagram offhand. I think it's Trip Design Studio. I'll be sure to link it down in the description below. This is a really interesting card. So Jim's I love your face. All right, so Warzone is a 3-cost, 2 required New York Earth Clashground. So this is a rare card. Okay, so it's a Clashground. All right, so I'm gonna say it again. This is a Clashground. All right, and it has counterplay on it. Okay, all right. So let's get to the counterplay last. Okay, so I wish the counterplay was listed at the end, but it's listed first.
Let's read from the bottom.
Yeah, we're gonna read from the bottom up. All right. So the first effect says Harbinger Clash cards get +1/+0. It also says at the end of each player's turn, that player may ready up to 1 Harbinger Clash card they control.
That's pretty good.
And then it also has counterplay. You may only activate this effect when an opponent plays a Clashground. Send that Clashground to Oblivion. It does not enter play. Then send this Clashground to Oblivion. So I was confused initially because I read the counterplay first. So I'm thinking to myself, wait, I can only play this as a counter, but if I'm sending this to Oblivion, I got confused. But that's why I'm like, I wish that was put last. But the templating for all these cards, they normally have those trigger tags at the top of the card. So that I get it, I understand it. I love the artwork on this. Jim, what's your thoughts about this card?
This card's phenomenal. This card's great. I'm gonna stop your Clash from entering. Sure, this like gets sent away, but it was gonna get sent away anyway, right? So it's like I have this now counter spell against your Clashgrounds, and now my Harbingers are just going to be better.
Dude, do you run this? Do you run this if you're not running Harbingers?
Oh man,
because I can see it.
Honestly,
I can
still see it.
I can see it.
Because all right, here's the thing, right?
Your opponent has to use another card.
Here's the thing. This can also be an easy 2-for-1 because you have out your Clashground. I now play this. Your Clashground's gone.
Yeah.
You now have to play another Clashground to get rid of this.
Get rid of that. Yeah.
I mean, but sure, if I'm not doing anything else, it's really just that protection of, all right, your New York City's not coming out. Your Grant Park's not coming out. So I still think it's worth it.
I know. I have to use another card that specifically targets a Clashground.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's again.
This is good.
I think the design team has done already in set 2. We're already in set 2, and we're getting a lot of these very different cards just for all these different types of strategies. I love this effect.
Yeah, this card's amazing. 100%. I think you still play this even if you aren't.
If you're not playing Harbingers.
Yeah, I think you still play this even if your opponent's playing Harbingers.
It's value. Like it's a lot of value.
Yeah, it's so much value.
It's a lot of value.
Yeah.
So in multiple different fronts too. But yeah, I love this card. I'm looking at the artwork and I'm trying to figure out who is in that.
It's War. He's got the spear.
No, I think it's Magnate. I think that's Gamma's spear.
Oh.
I think that's Magnate because it makes sense. It makes sense to me that that's Magnate,
but this
holding
is
a Gamma
War's
spear.
Zone.
It's War's Zone. It could be. It could. I can see it. I can see it being War as well. I'm interested to know.
Does Magnate have a cape?
Yeah, Magnate has a cape. Yep.
No cape.
No capes. No capes. Yeah, Sense of Warzone. Love this card. So many implications with this card.
Yeah.
A lot of implications with this one card. So, all right. Well, that's all the cards that we got for you guys this week. With that, I'm gonna actually ask Jim. Do you have a favorite?
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
There's a lot of good ones, dude. Isn't there?
There's so many good ones. I mean, the 7-drop War is phenomenal. I mean, a couple of the death cards are beautiful. I really don't know.
I know there's so many good ones. There's so many.
I really like Warzone because I can be like, no.
Yeah. Jim likes to say no. I like Warzone. I actually like Change of Scenery.
Change of Scenery is gorgeous.
I think that is such a cool card.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So with that, we're going to turn over to you guys. What card did you guys like the most from this week's spoiler season for Alpha Clashgrounds? Again, don't forget, guys, head over to the Kickstarter, back the novel, okay? So you can be included in there, get whatever tier you're looking for, assuming there's some left. Maybe get your hands on some promo cards. Maybe get a shirt, hat, if they still got any of those left. $10. $10 is the base tier that gets you access to the ebook, okay? So again, follow that Kickstarter, back it, support Ridge and the Rising Empire Studios team.
You know exactly how
I know what you're thinking, Jim. I know what you're thinking. So, again, if you like this type of content, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on bell notifications so you can be notified and re-release more Alpha Clash content in the future. Thanks a lot, everybody, for hanging out with us today, and we will catch you next time in the potentially, hopefully, last week spoiler wrap-up for Clashgrounds. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you in the next one. See everybody.
Take care.